Hi everyone, welcome back or welcome to the Aural Theory channel. My name is Dr. Julia Alford. In today's video, we are going to dig a little bit deeper into tonic expansion. If you missed the previous video, check that out first. In today's video, we are going to look at tonic expansion, harmonic dictation with the bass, the soprano, and adding in the 5/7 chord, its inversions, and the 7 diminished 6 chord. Quick recap, tonic expansion is the combination of the tonic and the multiple versions of the dominant chord to basically tell the listener, this is what key we're in. So today we're in E flat. And we're going to have various versions of this, this, and this. Okay, so 1s and 5s and a 7 diminished 6. Okay, so we already know that the one chord is made of do and mi and sol. First root position, do is going to be in the bass. First inversion, mi is going to be in the bass. We're still not going to have any second inversion chords for the one chord. The dominant chord, however, is going to get a little bit more complicated. So if we think about the 5/7 chord, it is sol, ti, re, and fa. So root position, sol is in the bass. First inversion, 5/6 or 5/6/5, you're going to have ti in the bass. Second inversion will be your 5/6/4. You could have that. It's rare, or a 5/4/3. That's going to be re in the bass. And then third inversion, the most unstable, is your 5/4/2, and that has fa in the bass. Okay, so then within the dominant chord, we have this variation of it, the 7 diminished 6 chord. So if we think about the 7 diminished chord, it's ti, re, fa. So all the notes except for sol. So we really think of it as like kind of a 5 chord. It's just missing sol. And that is only ever going to be in first inversion. So 7 diminished 6. And that chord, my friends, also has re in the bass. So we have 3 chords that can have re in the bass: 7 diminished 6, 5/4/3, and 5/6/4. Your job is going to be to guess or educated guess, or maybe very, very closely listening and figure out which one it is. I'm not necessarily overly particular about it with my students. Some teachers are. So it's up to you, up to your teacher, and how tricky they're going to make things for you. Taking down the soprano can sometimes help with that, but not always. Okay, so let's get into the progression. It is going to be 8 chords. You don't need manuscript paper. It could help if you want to practice translating the solfege into pitches, but I'm going to have you do just the solfege to start. So I don't want you to be writing any pitches, just solfege. And if you're doing numbers, please don't. Please just do solfege. Try to think about it. Movable do solfege. I know a lot of my students will do numbers. I'm begging you, please think about solfege. It's going to help you so much when we get to chromatic harmony. Okay, so there's your first chord, do in the bass, do in the soprano. So you've got 8 spots written out. You're just going to start with just an overall listening. See if you can tell which chords are tonic and which chords are dominant. If you know, you could put a T or a D maybe below the space to take a guess at it. So does it sound like tonic or does it sound like something else? Okay, so here we go. All right. Maybe you have some guesses, maybe you don't. Maybe you're just taking it all in. You can always back up and get more listening. So, back up the video if you need to. Let's start with it. So first of all, we know the do is in the bass. It has to start on a 1 chord. It's almost always going to start on 1 chord. It could start on a 5, but those are kind of your only 2 options. So we're starting on a 1 chord. And we're going to go from there. So now you can try to grab the solfege, or you can just draw in some arrows of which direction it's going. Okay, just the bass. I'll try and bring that again a little bit more. If you have your arrows, great. Move on to thinking about the solfege or thinking about steps versus skips versus leaps. Remember, you can only have do, re, mi, fa, sol. You can't have la. And there's certain voice leading rules that we'll talk about in a minute that also influence the direction that those pitches have to go. But remember, if you've got something that sounds like tonic and you're going to another tonic, then you're going to have mi or do in the bass for the 2 chords. If you're going from one 5 chord to another 5 chord, then you're going to be sticking within the 5 chord pitches. So let's try it out. If you want to hum along, I'm not going to. I'll do that on, we'll do 2 more listings. I'll hum on the next one. All right, let's hum. So we end on a root position 1 chord. All right. So let's think about it. We are starting on do. We're going up by step. Re, mi, and then this chord and this chord are pretty similar, right? They're both 1 chord. So we've got mi. It's actually an incomplete mi chord, or sorry, actually an incomplete 1 chord going to a complete 1 chord. So mi, do, and then what do we have? Do, fa. That is a leap. So it's do, do, do. That's a really common pattern that you're going to hear a lot in harmonic dictations using tonic expansion, because we're leaping up to a dissonance and resolving down by step. We'll talk a little bit about that as we go, but just so you know, we're going do, fa, mi, re, do. All right, so we've got do, re, mi, do, fa, mi, re, do. That fa, I'll just talk about now. The fa has to go down to mi because remember the 5/7 chord? Sol, ti, re, fa. Fa is the 7th of the 5/7 chord. And if you know anything about voicing, it's okay if you don't, but if you do, you know that the 7th of any 7th chord has to resolve down. So if you've got that fa in the bass and it's a 5/7 chord, you're good. It either has to go down to mi or it has to go to some other 5 chord in some other inversion. Sometimes that'll happen, but here you can feel it pulling down to mi, and that's a really good example of it. Okay, so let's talk about those chords. Do in the bass, 1 chord. Re, wild card. Put a question mark, maybe write in your options 5, 6, 5, 6, 4, 5, 4, 3, 7 diminished 6. Mi has to be a 1, 6. Cannot be a 3 chord. Don't write a 3 chord. Guess how many students I've had write a 3 chord. And then we go to do, that's root position 1. Fa has to be a 5, 4, 2. Mi, 1, 6. Back to re, another wild card, so draw that question mark, write in your options. Do. All right, let's listen to the soprano, see if we get any more clues. Maybe we'll, probably won't, but we'll see. Okay, so we start on do. That's really high for me. Do, do, do. I'm not going to sing along, actually, right? So just listen in. I'll try to bring it out. It's a little harder with the right hand. Okay, again, I'll try and like roll the chords this time so you can really get it. one, do, do, but we know they're both one chord, so that should help you out there. So just starting from the third chord, do, 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 do. Sorry, I messed up that second to last chord. I was obsessed with the singing. All right, so if we talk about, we know at the beginning we're going do, T, do. Hopefully that was obvious. If not, it's okay. But do, T, do, and then a leap down, but we know it's a one chord. It could be do all the way to mi. That'd be really far and not good voice leading. This isn't terribly great voice leading, but it's okay because it's two one chords. So do, do, sol, that's better. Do, sol. And then it skips back up, but you can feel it wants to resolve. Do, do, ti, do. Sometimes you can get the notes by the way that you get to them, and sometimes you can get them by the chord and figure out from context, and sometimes you can get them from where they want to go. Okay, so this note at the fifth chord really wants to go T, do, and then it just goes T, do again. So overall we have do, T, do, sol, T, do, T, do. All right, so sketch that all in, put it on your manuscript paper if you want, if you're working with it. Do we have any clues? A big clue with the re chords is if we had sol in the soprano, which we don't. So now we have to listen for quality. Is it crunchy, which would be your 7 diminished 6 or your 5/4/3? They both have the tritone. So T to fa is your tritone interval. That does not exist in the 5/6/4, so it's not as crunchy. So if you have that, those are crunchy versus not crunchy. This is just a regular 5 chord in the key. This is a 5/7. This is a 7 diminished 6. These two are pretty close, right? Pretty stinking hard to tell the difference. One has 4 notes, the other has 3. If they're voiced completely. They're not always voiced completely. Okay, so this is your first chord. We know that's the 1. And then let's listen to this chord. Is it crunchy? It's kind of crunchy. So think about what you think that is. And then we're going to keep going 5/4/2, 1/6, and then our next question mark chord. It's also, they're both pretty spaced out pretty far, so it's kind of hard to tell how crunchy they are. Right? If you can hear in the inner voices, if you can find sol in the inner voice, that might help you out with determining the 7 diminished 6 versus the 5/4/3. Let's listen to it one more time. I'm not going to say anything. Just take your guess, and then we'll look at the answer. Okay, pause, re-listen if you want. You can back up. And let's look at the answer in 3, 2, 1. Here you go. So we've got the first chord is a 1 chord, then 7 diminished 6. The F or re is doubled in the alto. Okay, and then 1/6, 2, 1. And then that 5/4/2, got that really close voice in between the bass and the tenor. To the 1/6. 5/4/3 for the second to last chord. If you heard those 4 distinct pitches, that could help you. It's the only one of the 3 that would have 4 pitches. And you also have that B flat or sol common tone between between almost all of the chords. So if you could hear that in the tenor, that would really help you as well. Just picking that out. Because remember, there is always sol exists in both chords, so it's very often, it's not always, sometimes it gets left out in the 1 chord, but it's prevalent. A lot of times it's just sitting in the tenor or the alto voices. Altos, you know, we have lots of fun singing lots of common tones. So there you go. Okay, that's it. Feel free to subscribe, leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know what else you'd like to see, and I hope I see you in the next video. Bye.